Right, so we're here with a couple of Glasgow City media veterans for a chat just ahead of Glasgow City's Champions League quarter-final match against Wolfsburg, which kicks off in a few hours. We've got a split-site media team here, and Callum and I are back in Glasgow, and Craig's flown over with the team on Wednesday. How was the trip over for you, Craig? What's your thoughts on San Sebastian so far?
Yeah, it was a good trip. Obviously, great. Thanks needs to go to James Anderson for obviously funding all the travel and all the testing. It's obviously very unusual. All the masks on, all the testing, all the players and staff had to go through, but it's got us here, so that's the important thing. And obviously, we're not really able to explore the city at all. But yeah, it's the hotel's lovely. We've obviously all got our masks on whenever we're out of our rooms, and yeah, it's a weird setup, but it's something to be able to play the game. I think everyone associated with the club will happily take.
Yeah, that's the main thing in it, yeah. And what's sort of the preparation been like for the team over there?
Yeah, so they were out. They visited the stadium yesterday afternoon, the Anueta Stadium, and then went a few miles away to Real Sociedad's training base and had an hour-long training session there. So they've been able to at least kind of get a wee feel for the things. It was a very hot day yesterday. It was in the mid-30s. Today it's expected to only be in the mid-20s. Potentially there could be some rain around kickoff, which could cool things down. So obviously slightly different conditions, but no, I think the players they're up for it.
Cool, yeah. And how's training been? You've obviously been to training sessions while I've been over there. How has that been, and what's sort of the general feeling in camp heading into tonight's game?
I think the general feeling is very good. How often do you get the chance to reach the semi-finals of the Champions League? And I think Scott's touched on it many times in many interviews of saying this is potentially, for some of these players, they might not get the chance against. So I think the players are all excited. The opportunity doesn't come along very often, and they deserve to be here. Let's remember that it's not they're just randomly here. They've beaten Chertonova. They've done the hard work against Bromby and Copenhagen and dug in Glasgow and won the penalty shootouts. They deserve to be here. And obviously Wolfsburg's a very tough test, but they've earned the right to have a go at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And with it being a one-off game, there's 90 minutes of football ahead of both teams. Do you think it's maybe a big chance for Glasgow City, who are big underdogs going into this game? Just head over to you, Callum. What are your thoughts on that?
It certainly increases the chance a little bit. There's under no illusions. It's something the players have mentioned. Scott's mentioned. When we were at the training day last week. It's still extremely tough, and Wolfsburg have been so close in recent years. Always seem to meet Lyon and lose. It'd be nice if Glasgow City somehow got that far, but it does open up for opportunity. We've seen in the men's Champions League there has been some surprises because it is a bit different. It is like a World Cup. It is like a Euros. The experienced players, not just the Scottish experienced players. You think of Janine Van Wyk as well. It's came in that now has experience at World Cup and that kind of level, so they know kind of that quick fire tournament format. So it adds something exciting in there. And in one-off games you never know, and you can never say no. There's no chance.
Yeah, and Craig, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think what Callum said. Obviously, Wolfsburg have a lot of history in this tournament. They've won it twice, so they know what they're doing. But it's a one-off game, and we've seen City pull mega results out already on this journey away in Copenhagen, the 2-0 win over Bromby. So they've pulled out great results in Europe before, and you never know.
Yeah, anything can happen in 90 minutes. So Wolfsburg's obviously one of the top teams in Europe, and they're especially got strong going forward. And in interviews, Scott has recently said that he doesn't want to just sit in and defend for 90 minutes. So what kind of game do you think this is going to be, Callum?
There'll have to be some patience in there. I think, Wolfsburg are a quality side. You just need to look through them. You just need to look through the forwards with Harder. Payor's one that, people might remember from Medic Conan days and the run to the quarterfinals when she played for them in Poland back in 14-15, developed a long way. One or two great players. Jaga Beefy's had a great tournament so far in midfield, scored a few goals. There was a sense against Brøndby, particularly Scott's mentioned this against Brøndby in the first leg. They defended, had to defend and had to take their opportunities when they came, and they did away from home. And then in the second leg, because Brøndby still had that threat, Scots could openly say maybe the tactics weren't quite right to just kind of let them have the ball or focus on one or two players. And then when they did actually have a go at Brøndby in the second half, and probably should have scored maybe in 90 minutes, 120 before it got to penalties, they were better. So that will be something maybe in the mind that you can't just sit in there for 90 minutes, but you're going to have to be patient because they are quality. One thing with Glasgow City is they haven't had an awful lot of game time, and Wolfsburg kind of have, but then they've had a break again, and then they're coming back. But City, as well as a lot of new players, some good experience in there, talking about Van Dijk and defence and whatnot. But players that have played in the competition, other players, maybe not at this stage, but there is one or two players of footballing experience that have came in to play one or two that have left. So I think there's going to have to be a bit of pragmatism in there, but they surely should get a chance or two, hopefully in there. It's just about whether they can take them if they do arise.
So Craig, you mentioned it briefly earlier, but looking at the pictures that have been posted so far, it looks lovely and sunny over there in San Sebastian. What are the conditions like over there heading into kick-off?
Yeah, obviously the conditions yesterday and on arrival on Wednesday were very hot. It's slightly cooler today, so whether that makes a big difference, obviously it might maybe make a little difference, but I don't think over the whole it will make too big between the sides. The pitch looks immaculate, it must be said. UEFA have done a great job there. The stadium with all the banners all the way around, I'm sure you'll all see it on the television later. It does look it's a stunning stadium, and it is in fact just a real shame that obviously we can't get people in. But it's at the end of the day, it's a football pitch, and there'll be 12 players on it. They both got to deal with the same conditions, so I don't feel the conditions will play too big a part for at the end of the day, both teams have to deal with them.
Yeah. And finally, just over to you, Callum, can you remind us and the fans of what kind of coverage to expect and where can fans catch the game? Yeah, so
there's plenty of news. We've got plenty of build-up as part of our build-up for the game later on today. And it's amazing. There's so much going on. This morning we revealed the news. Play Celtic once again in the league when that gets underway. But it's kind of worry about that. When we get to that, because the excitement of the Champions League. Hashtag Petershill Roar at home. Fans get involved. I'll give people a mention. We've got radio commentary on our Facebook page live from 5 to 5. You can watch it on BBC Alba as well. You can sync it up if you want and have things commentary. But it's on TV. We've got plenty of build-up. We've got the Twitter commentary as well. Craig's in the stadium. And we've got Dale as well with our roving camera throughout the trip. So hopefully get some great stuff from him. And fingers crossed. The bad news is Glasgow City have never beaten a German opponent in the Champions League. Good news is 90 minutes. You never know.
It's always got to be a first time.
Exactly.